YouTube, what's going on, YouTube? What is going on? What is happening, man? Of course, your guy, one more time, DEDRICKHICKSJR, and we are back with another fragrance video. All right, so Smell Good family. Hope everyone is doing well, doing great, doing fantastic. Positive energy and positive vibes. Y'all know how we rock. Y'all know how we give it up here on this channel. All right, truly hope everyone is doing well. All right, so today, man, we have 10 fragrances that were truly loved at first sniff. All right, so I've smelled tons and tons of fragrances in my lifetime, and to my recent memory, these are the 10 that just was like, oh my goodness, gotta have a bottle now. Or some of these are just blind buys, and I was like, yep, scored a home run. All right, so either way I go, the first time I smelled these 10, it worked out. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it, man. Up first, from the house of Nishan, this truly blew my mind. All right, at first sniff, we have Fan Your Flames. Nishan Fan Your Flames. I had never smelled anything like this ever. The way the coconut and the rum and the tobacco and the tonka, so much going on in this fragrance that has created a beautiful scent profile. And when I smelled it for the first time, it was just like truly, like everything around me just paused. Everything around me just paused, man. So unique, so different. I was able to have that experience, man, and our first sniff, man, it's just something that I know I won't forget because of exactly what it did for me. So from the house of Nishan, Love at First Sniff, we have Fan Your Flames. Fan Your Flames, all right? Up next, I remember being in my local Nordstrom and smelling this for the first time. It blew my mind so much that it became the #1 fragrance out of this line for me. Out of the house of Parfums de Marly, we have Pegasus Exclusive. Pegasus Exclusive. I love Leighton. I love Ojan, Sedley, Percival, you name them. I love the house of Parfums de Marly. But the way that almondy, vanilla, oody, spicy style of a fragrance took hold of me in that store. It wasn't just me. It was one of my great friends from Frag Boys ENT, Cedric Farr, Tyrone Koppel. He was there with me as well, and he had it so bad he ordered it right there in the store off a discount to save him some money. But then a few months went by, and him, Sad, and Kevin, other member of Frag Boys ENT, they blessed me with this bottle for my birthday, and I ain't gonna lie, man, I got a little choked up, man, when I pulled it out the bag. So this was my first ever Parfums de Marly, but this was the one that just kind of like, man, this stuff is awesome type of experience. So at Love at First Sniff, from the house of Parfums de Marly, Pegasus Exclusive. #1 out of the line for me, for sure. All right. Next up, from the house of Michael Malone London, we have Jet Black Platinum. I also remember smelling this. Speaking of Cedric Farr, I was at his house and smelling through some fragrances, man, and I had never smelled anything from Michael Malone London. I picked up the bottle and he goes, "Well, now be careful with that one." So I'm like, okay. And I spray it, man, and I said, dear Lord, like cinnamon and vanilla, and just, oh my God, it's so good, man. A great cold weather scent. And get my nose on this, I ordered it right there in the chair that I was sitting in when I was smelling the tester strip. I ordered it right then and there, and I love the experience that I get from it, for sure. This is the only fragrance that I have from the house of Michael Malone London. Jet Black Platinum just did it for me off first sniff. When I smelled it, I had my moment, then I purchased it. That's a real deal for sure, all right? So again, Love at First Sniff, from the house of Michael Malone London, we got Jet Black Platinum. Jet Black Platinum. This stuff is awesome, man. I've had it for 2 years now. It's also macerated a bit. It's just amazing, all right? Up next, with me being a huge fan of Iris, I sat still for a few minutes with this one on how good it is. From the house of Narcisco Rodriguez, from the Blue Noir line, we have for him Blue Noir, the Parfum. This stuff is phenomenal. One, I didn't expect to get what I got when I smelled this fragrance, man. The way the iris comes off in here was just totally out of left field, and I'm sure that may have something to do with my in awe of it, because iris is a fragrance that's very, very popular. But the way Michael Malone London, the way Narcisco Rodriguez did this fragrance for sure, it's just complimentary, man. You get a freshness from the iris. It's kind of the fresh part, the sweet part. You get a light spice to it as well. Just an overall versatile scent. Versatile scent for the cool weather. You could wear this fall or winter time. You could even wear this in the springtime. I've worn it in the spring for sure. And at Love at First Sniff, I set with it, man, because it's just clean. It's clean. It gives off this clean and put together type of vibe, man. And I love iris, and I love a bunch of iris fragrances, but this was the one that I remember. I just remember just sitting like this, smelling it, man. So Love at First Sniff from the house of Narcisco Rodriguez, not Michael Malone London. We have for him Blue Noir. Blue Noir. All right. No brainer here, man. This is documented. This is documented on the live stream. This is documented. This is the top 5 fragrance of my collection now. This is one of the most hyped fragrances that I can remember over the past year or so, and I don't care. I love it. Love at First Sniff for sure. From the house of Virtus, we have Virtus Vanilla Oud. Virtus Vanilla Oud. Like I said, it's documented, guys. Go back and look at the live stream. It is documented. I'm not going to spend that much more time with it. This stuff is phenomenal. This stuff is great. It's phenomenal. It's great. It's good. And the first time I smelled it, I felt my breath starting to slip away. It's documented. Go check it out. Shout out my guy Jared Miller for providing me with the decant and me purchasing this bottle within that same week. I was waiting on the email to let me know when it's up. FragranceNet was the first one to hit me. I purchased it from them the week of my youngest son was the week that my youngest son was born, so I'll never forget that. Just ties it together. First time smelling it, the sweetness, the oud, the spices, just Bella. This stuff is good. Virtus Vanilla Oud. Love at First Sniff for sure. All right. Moving along to one, man, I love the note of cherry, and I love it done in a masculine way, and this stuff is awesome. Love at First Sniff for sure. From the house of Cologne, we have Lhomme de Parfum, the EDP. This stuff is so good, man. It is so good. It is so good. The cherry, the leather, the spice, just the way that it comes off, the quality. It has a good body, good base to it as well. I'm just a big fan of cherry, and I'm a big fan of what Guerlain has done here. Got the bottle in. Matter of fact, I smelled this from Cedric once again. Cedric, me and him were hanging out one day, and he brought a couple bottles over, and this was in, and I smelled it, and I've been on the hunt for it. Matter of fact, when I smelled it, and I talked about it on the previous video, somebody from the Smell Good family shot me the link that day as the video had went live. I caught the link, I purchased the bottle. Shout out to you guys for always looking out. That's happened a couple of times in my fragrance journey here on YouTube. So this is excellent. Love at First Sniff. I just highly recommend it if you love cherry. This stuff is awesome. Love at First Sniff for sure. From the house of Guerlain, we have Lhomme de Parfum, the EDP. EDP. Great stuff here, man, for sure. All right, my first ever Middle Eastern purchase. All right, my first ever Middle Eastern purchase. And I still get goo goo gaga when I smell this fragrance for sure. From the house of Lattafa, we have Cahiers Al Farsan. Cahiers Al Farsan. Man, this is my first ever Middle Eastern purchase. Shout out to my guy Jeremy over at the House Colossus for putting me and you and everybody else on probably with this fragrance. But the pineapple realistic vibe that you get, that Dole pineapple juice. I'm talking about that last bit of pineapple juice in the Dole can. That's what you get out of this for sure. You get a spicy saffron in here as well, touch of woods, like also with the pineapple, get this berry type of feel. That's what I get off to my nose. But I remember smelling it for the first time. 1, because of the price. 2, I was in shock of how realistic the pineapple is in this one for sure. And 3, just as it started to come together, man, I said, wow, you really can get this for 20 bucks? Really can get this for 20 bucks? This stuff is fantastic. Love at first sniff. I also sat here with the pause when I got this in. My first ever Middle Eastern purchase, I believe. From the house of Lattafa, we have Kayed Al Farsan. Excellent stuff, man. Excellent for sure. All right. Next up, man, from the house of Jean-Paul Gaultier. I love this stuff. It is keeping me from buying the Lhomme de Parfum so soon. But this stuff is awesome. From the house of Jean-Paul Gaultier, we have Lhomme, the EDT. I love coconut. Love it, love it, love it. But what this does with the coconut is beautiful. I just had to smell it one more time. A realistic milky coconut that you get here. Tonka bean and bergamot round out the fragrance. This was a stunner for me this past summer. A stunner for the warmer weather. During the day, during the evening, whatever you got going on, this is just one that just absolutely works. But as far as the shock value for when I smelled it for the very first time, I was blown away. One, because I couldn't believe a designer house was able to pull off a realistic vibe to coconut, because my experience with coconut has been synthetic-y sunscreening. Synthetic-y sunscreening. When we go to niches, then I'm able to get this. So for this to produce a realistic coconut, milky coconut vibe is awesome. I really enjoyed it. I bought this full retail. Yes, I could have got it on discounters, but I didn't care. Full retail, this stuff is awesome. From the house of Jean-Paul Gaultier, we have Lhomme, the EDT. Lhomme, the EDT. This stuff is awesome, all right? Two more left to discuss out of the house. One from the house of Lattafa. Mind-blowing stuff. Man, mind-blowing. We have Camera. Lattafa's Camera. Cinnamon sweetness. Dates. Vanilla. Cinnamon. This stuff, it's gotten so much browner since I bought it. This stuff is so good, man. So sexy, so good. Gives comparisons to Angel Share from Kilian all the time. Similarities are there, but this does its own thing for sure, all right? Just a big fan of the quality of this, the depth and the body that this possesses, the sweetness, the slight spice to it as well, the date note that is very present to my nose from this fragrance. Lattafa did a fantastic job. It had a lot of hype when I got the bottle. So when I smelled it compared to what I was hearing, it was like, oh yeah, I understand. I understand exactly what's going on and why it is so hype. I sat with this once again. I sprayed it on paper, I sprayed it on my hand, and I spent time with it and just in pure disbelief that at the price of this is what I got. And it smelled so good, and it really kind of had me in a quick little trance. I wore it the very next day after I got it in, because it was during a cooler time of year when I purchased this last year. And this stuff is awesome, man. From the house of Lattafa, once again, we have Camera. And last but not least, I'm a huge fan of the DNA. One of the flankers in this line is my favorite of all time. By saying that, y'all already know what it is. But this was the first one that I experienced, but it wasn't the first bottle that I bought. From the house of Chanel, we have Bleu de Chanel, the EDT. The Parfum was my first purchase from Bleu de Chanel, but the EDT was the one that I smelled first. And the DNA was so different from the Dior Sauvage, from the YSL wide line. I had experienced them all, but this one was so much more different. And it just captivated me. I'm standing there at the counter, swinging the tester strip, smelling it. I got some on my hand. And then I proceeded to smell the others, the EDP and then the Parfum. The Parfum was the first purchase and also my #1 fragrance of all time. But this is the one that got it started. So I spent time with this at the counter before I even smelled the Parfum or the EDP. So this is one for me for sure that just made me fall in love with the DNA. Plain and simple. From the house of Chanel, Love at First Sniff, we have Bleu de Chanel, the EDT. This is a big 150 bottle. As you can see, we are more than halfway done. Maybe you can't see because the bottle's so dark, but we're more than halfway done with that bottle. All right, Smell Good family. So those were 10 love at first sniff fragrances. And I got a lot of fragrances, man. So for me to have the memories tied to these 10, I can remember where I was. I can remember everything that was around me. I can remember what I had on, all of that. Because, you know, when a memory is created, that's the thing that happens. And these fragrances definitely have those memories. All right. So again, yeah, these are my 10 love at first sniff. Let me know down below in the comments. What were some of the ones? You can name me 10, 20, 5, whatever you got. What's some fragrances that will love at first sniff for you? All right. All right, Smell Good fam. Until next time, y'all be cool, be safe, take care of yourselves. Y'all know what it is, man. Or don't you? Do you know? Splag up, splag it down, splag it that thing all around. And remember, what you put out into this world is exactly what you are going to get back. Appreciate the love, and as always, splacker. That was terrible. Splacker. Should have just did that.